Unfortunately, I think the threat of global jihadism at the moment is particularly exacerbated. I think we have fundamentally misdiagnosed what we were dealing with, whereas prior to this, we dealt with what we thought was a fringe group. We failed to address the ideological roots of the global jihadist phenomenon. We're dealing with what I believe is a global jihadist insurgency, and that the only way to uproot this global jihadist insurgency is to discredit and to depopularize the ideology that continues to feed it. It's a bit like Medusa's head. If you cut off the head of the snake and 10 more emerge, that's telling us something. It's telling us that, like all insurgencies, we're not addressing the root causes. Well, like all social movements, there are 5 core components that make something attractive as a movement. They would be ideas, narratives, leaders, symbols, and the end goal or the vision. So if we think of Islamism, we know what their ideas are, we know what they stand for. We know they want to create some form of enforcement of Islam over society. We know what their narratives are, their propaganda. We know they believe that there's a global war going on against Islam and Muslims. We know who their leaders are. We can think of people like bin Laden. We can think of Baghdadi. We know what their symbols are. We think of the black flag that they raise and other iconography that belongs to their social movement. And we also know what their end goal or their vision is, because they talk about resurrecting this theocratic caliphate. And the real challenge, I think, is when we consider what the democratic equivalent of these 5 elements are in the Middle East. We're very hard-pressed to think of it. We don't know what the ideas and the narratives, or the leaders and the symbols, and the end goal or the dream of the democratic equivalent in the Middle East is. And that tells us how bad the situation is at the moment. There is a danger of omission in international intervention as much as there is a danger of commission. We could illegally invade a country in the attempt to stop terrorism, as we've done in the past, and we saw the results of Iraq before us today. But there's another danger. It's played out once before in the case of Bosnia, where we failed to intervene in an ongoing genocide, and it led to the radicalization of an entire generation of young European Muslims, including myself, because they saw their fellow co-religionists being slaughtered in their own continent. These were white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Muslims, and so people like me felt we had no chance. We overtly looked Muslim, whatever that means. So there is the danger of omission and the danger of commission, and the danger of the pendulum swinging too far on either side is ever present. I believe in our failure to intervene when Assad used chemical weapons in Syria was a terrible mistake. I believe there was a danger of omission. In that failure to intervene, we witnessed a turning point in the Syrian rebellion, where the Syrian people, the population, felt that the international community had given up on them. And so instead they turned to the ones who were on the ground fighting against Assad, and they were the jihadist movements. And the result is what we see with the rise of ISIL in Iraq and Syria today.